We'll write analysis of MPC, analysis of relevance of MPC. Analysis of relevance of MPC. So first one, MPC takes decision on the basis of democracy, on the basis of democracy among members, on the basis of democracy among members. What do you think? Is this good point in favor of RBI? What do you think about this? If I'll ask that, because before the establishment of MPC, RBI governor was the sole authority, and his or her internal team was the sole authority to take decision regarding key policy rates. Now we have democratic institution, and we were, for the last 5 to 6 years, we were talking about autonomy of RBI. This may be the question in your mains examination in 1 or 2 years. Autonomy of RBI. By this point, it means from 2016, first meeting of MPC, and 2018, we have around 12 meetings. But we have no evidence of any high government interference in the working of MPC. There is no evidence. Actually, the voting pattern was around 6:0, 5:1, and 4:2. Actually, we have never experienced any tie till this point. So what do you think about that? Before the establishment of MPC, the RBI governor and his internal team was the sole authority in making decisions regarding key policy rates. Now, after the establishment of MPC, what do you think? That is this a correct decision in favor of RBI, the working of RBI, or correct decision in the favor of taking control of inflation? We are taking discussion on the another level, so you have to keep participating. I've given all the picture in front of you. Before the establishment of MPC, RBI governor and his internal team, means deputy governor or other nominated directors, were the sole authority to undertakes the task of controlling inflation and making decisions regarding key policy rate. But after the establishment of MPC in September 2016, MPC is a democratic body. Process has become more transparent because now we are publishing minutes of that meeting. These are crucial aspects. Yes. Process is very democratic here. We can say that the establishment of MPC was in the favor of RBI, or RBI favored the establishment of MPC. But why the previous governor, the 23rd governor of RBI, Raghuram Rajan, was against this concept? Do you think the flip side of this MPC? I've given example that there was not a single instance that we have experienced any tie, any excessive government pressure. But you can expect that pressure in coming bi-monthly policies. I can expect. In October, then we have in December, then we again have in February. Last bi-monthly policy of this current fiscal. So we have 3 main before election. The real picture of MPC will come here. So you are saying that RBI is also undertaking the responsibility of growth. But RBI is bounded to control inflation by this monetary policy framework agreement. If government achieves around 5% GDP growth rate, then no one will ask to this person, Urjit Patel or MPC, or RBI is not accountable for such a low growth. Actually, RBI criticized by many industrialists in 2013-14 because at that time RBI was keeping repo rate at 8%. 8%. Just to bring down the inflation. That was a problem in 2013. Low growth, problem was stagflation. Are you able to connect things from growth to inflation? So, according to MPC, till date if we analyze, it is working in a favorable condition. But you have to think flip side of it. What will happen? How will you control the decisions of monetary policy? On the one hand, we are talking about this democratic body. And on the other hand, we are talking about autonomy of RBI in making decisions regarding key policy rate. So if there is, maybe in future, there may be some government that will interfere too much in the working of RBI. What is the protection measure? Casting vote is the only measure. Suppose, for example, nominated directors, other directors also not favoring. Because before that, RBI governor was the sole authority to decide on the key policy rate. If his internal team totally against a decision. So we can say, if you experience any personality cult in the position of RBI governor, the old method was not in a favor of working of RBI. But here we have democratic institution. Another point in the favor of MPC is that MPC is having expertise from academics also. Getting my point? So you write next. By giving the democratic nature to MPC, this has increased the expertise. This has increased the expertise. This has increased the expertise of MPC in decision making. This has increased the MPC. This has increased. Oh, Sachin, can you repeat the sentence?
By giving the democratic nature to MPC, this has increased the expertise of MPC decision making.
MPC's decision making. MPC's decision making. Because it includes academicians, subject expert, because it includes academician, subject experts, etc. So academicians are very important, because if you are including academicians, if he or she has an experience of around 40 years in research, 30 years in research, obviously it will give an edge to the decision making and predicting the future prices, because economics is the only subject which studies about future. Talking about history, law, that comes after the event. History, studying of the past event. Law, after crime. Talking about science, what is existed? We have to study that. But in economics, it's all about prediction. So how good you are in prediction, that's the most important thing. So your experience will matter a lot. So when you include academician, researcher, etc., it gives an edge to the decision making in key policy rates. Getting my point? Okay. Next point. So this may be your third point or third point. What was the first point? We have written democratic. Okay. Third point, MPC publishes minutes of its every meeting. Minutes of its every meeting. Minutes of its every meeting, just to make the transparency in the system. Just to make the transparency in the system. Full stop. Suppose, for example, there are 6 members. If I am saying, if I am in favor of reducing the key policy rate, because I am from government side, so then I have to give reasons why I am favoring this decrease in the key policy rate. So that 5:1, so that one person gave the argument that crude oil prices will stabilize in near future. We should not take, we can say, early signals of hike in the crude oil prices. We should see the data because we are around 4.8% of inflation. Although it looks like it is giving an upward pressure on our maximum limit of 6%. The argument was actually not wrong because we experienced 1.78% of inflation in June 2017. According to that, we have breached the lower limit data. So according to that, repo rate should be 4%. But just giving or just seeing or just analyzing 1 month data, we cannot see the near future. So it means sometimes RBI is overestimating the hike in the inflation because this is the nature of Indian economy. It is an inflationary bias. We always think about inflation, we never talk about deflation. Always an issue is inflation. So we always overestimate it. This is one of the biggest criticism of RBI, that RBI generally overestimates the inflation. But in reality, inflation doesn't rise like this. So you write the next point. MPC criticizes by subject experts and industrialists. On the basis of overestimation of the rate of inflation. Full stop. Just listen. When we established MPC, we never experienced or we never breached the upper limit, 6%. The highest was, I think, 5.78%. 5.78% in the recent months. But we never breached the upper limit. So it means every time RBI talks about inflation, expected rise in the inflation in the 5 to 6 months. Because why? Why RBI is overestimating? The question is, there are 6 big subject experts. What do you think? We are correct or they are correct? If I'll say that I'm saying the right thing and these 6 people are wrong, you cannot believe me, considering my experience and their experience. The reason for overestimation, any idea from your side? Although it is a very high level argument, yes. Any idea, any guesses? They are thinking at conservative level. We have some kind of stances like hawkish stance, accommodative stance. We are reading in the newspaper that RBI stance is hawkish. Rajiv Kumar.
India is currently facing plus trade deficit, so we are also thinking about any fiscal deficit India is there. So we don't think that we need to keep record this inflation also.
This is the data of trade deficit, actual data. You can cross check this. 18 billion in the month of July, 17 billion in the month of June. And this is expected to rise further. Obviously, when the data of August will come in the month of September, you will see approximation around 19 billion, maybe more than 19 billion. This is the example why RBI is overestimating every time the inflation. Think about crude oil prices. $75 a barrel, BBL barrel. Think about inflation rate. This is 4.8% and expected to rise next month 4.9%. Actual data. Talking about foreign exchange reserves, 400 plus. or if we say 414 billion US dollar. So actually it has started depleting, not at a higher pace. You can analyze the situation. Talking about BOP, it is also deteriorating. Data is huge, doesn't matter.
The RBI must be doing this means
RBI?
the RBI must be keeping the inflation rate high, like economic credit rate as very high because maybe they want to alarm the government not to spend more reserves.
Not to deplete. But let me tell you, government has no role in this foreign exchange reserves. अभी और बताऊंगा, on the advanced level, government has no role in playing with the money supply. No role. We always say 2000 का नोट इसने निकाला, इस गवर्नमेंट ने 1000 का इसने. The final approval is of government, but government has no role in money supply. I'll explain each and everything with evidences. Government has no role. Talking about RBI, because RBI controls trade more or less by controlling exchange rate. Getting my point? RBI controls foreign exchange reserves. We'll discuss in today's class, custodian of foreign exchange reserves. RBI undertakes the task of controlling inflation by credit policy, key policy rates. This is the picture in front of you. Overestimating of inflation. Why always? Because Indian economy is a consumption driven economy. Repeatedly I am saying, if you are writing this word in the mains examination, it has an immense weightage in your answer. Because examiner will get to know that you know idea what is consumption driven economy, what is investment driven economy. And if your economy is consumption driven economy, or if your economy is growing at the back of consumption driven goods, there may be a possibility, or there is a possibility that your economy will experience inflationary impact always. Because when we compare consumption, it means our population or our normal citizens, residents, spending more and more number of money in order to buy that or satisfy their utility. So if you are buying more commodities, it means you are spending in the economy, and that too on a consumption expenditure. You are consuming more things. So whenever you are consuming more, obviously you are putting upward pressure on inflation, upward pressure on high prices, because you have money, purchasing power. Okay? You have enough money supply. The products available in the market is limited for certain time period, for we can say for a year. We cannot alter production in a year, depending on the goods and services. We cannot alter the production of rice in a year. Obviously, when the next Kharif season will come, we can alter the production of rice. But for this particular year, if your demand goes up, obviously prices of rice will go up. Getting my point? So this is the only, you write this point, very important point. We have written something about this point. RBI, the MPC continuously criticized. Can you please repeat the sentence? The reason behind this overestimation, continue with the same point. The reason behind this overestimation is that Indian economy is a consumption driven economy. Indian economy is a consumption driven economy. And a consumption driven economy always experiences high rate of inflation. A high rate of inflation. So now just listen. This is our 4% limit. Okay. Think about it. It means it breaches around 0.8% or 0.9%. Think from others' perspective, like from if we are experiencing inflation of 3.2% or 3.1%. Difference is same from that 4%. But the decision making is very different. Here you are thinking about rising in the repo rate. But here you are just keeping the repo rate constant. And just to see that how the CPI index will work in the next 2 months, then we'll take action. You can see the data, this is evident. For a long time the repo rate was 6% because inflation was hovering around 4% or below 4%. But recently, when you experience inflation like 4.8%, 4.9%, then RBI thought that, oh, situation may go out of control. Because whenever you will experience rise in the inflation rate, it is a steep rise. And monetary policy is not a direct policy. Getting my point? I told you maybe in earlier classes. If you think about fiscal policy and monetary policy, although you don't know about the idea of fiscal policy, but in monetary policy, it is an indirect policy because RBI does not affect directly the consumer. RBI takes the route of banking sector. But fiscal policy can impact consumers directly by altering the tax rate. That is why if suppose inflation goes beyond 5%, 6%, it may take time, maybe 2 or 3 bi-monthly policy to control the inflation below 6%. Okay, I think enough discussion on this MPC. If you have any doubt, you can ask now. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next topic. Inflation, because obviously inflation is a matter of fact that when we say the credit growth, whenever we say that consumption driven economy, obviously it depends on the banking sector, how banking sector is efficient in mobilizing finances. Remember the consumption in 2018, 2008 and 1998, the growth of banking sector played its part in consumption driven economy. So monetary policy is the sole authority because we are keeping our money in the banking sector, directly affected by the policies making by these banks. In order to control these banks, whenever we'll study RBI, that's the next topic, we will get to know why monetary policy is important and how government is using or how RBI is using expansionary and contractionary monetary policy to control inflation in the economy. Because fiscal policy is related to directly your purchasing power. But monetary policy takes control of money supply. You remember the word disposable income in GDP? Whatever you are having in your hand to spend. Suppose your income is 10 lakh, I've given around 7 lakh you are getting as a real cash in your hand. That 7 lakh rupees you can spend. But if your inflation is on rise, the value of that 7 lakh rupees will go down. But on the other hand, if fiscal policy says in the next year that we are reducing the income tax rate, so jitna bhi road hua hai, that is with the help of price rise, you will get that enough purchasing power. So that's actually a policy. Both go hand in hand. But when we compare with the price rise, consumer prices, etc., monetary policy plays an important role.
There should be a mix of both.
Obviously, it will go hand in hand. When I will teach you that fiscal policy, then we compare fiscal policy and monetary policy. I will give you example of European Union. But right now I'll give you a brief example of European Union. We have European Central Bank. ठीक है, ज़्यादा सोचना नहीं है समझ में, I'll tell you. But European Central Bank, it means there is one monetary policy of whole European Union. But we have different fiscal policy because we do not have any European Union government. We have fiscal policy, means related to expenditure and revenue of government. Different for Greece, different for Italy, different for Germany and France. Why I'm comparing these 4 countries? Because Germany, you can understand as a grandfather of European Union. Grandfather of European Union. Talking about France, we can say second in command. Because Britain is not even interested. since Britain joined, never interested in European politics. Although Britain was the part of that European Union, but they never surrendered their currency. So talking about Germany is a grandfatherly figure of European Union, and France is second in command. Talking about PIGS country, PIIGS, Portugal, Italy, Ireland, Greece and Spain, the southern European countries, were struggling with the problem of debt. So it means they need a good fiscal policy. But what European Union is doing? Making a single monetary policy of euro. So what happened? Germany and France is a big powerhouse. They can absorb these fluctuations. But what happened to these crises or these countries? The resultant crisis is Eurozone crisis of 2011. They defaulted on their loan. Because how can you control only fiscal policy when your monetary policy is imposed on you? We'll discuss in detail when we compare, or after the class I'll tell you. See, getting my point? So this should be go hand in hand. That's the main purpose of this MPC. Because before the establishment of MPC, what RBI is saying is totally opposite to Ministry of Finance. There were instances that there were arguments in the press conference between Arun Jaitley and Raghuram Rajan. There were arguments in the press conference itself. So what RBI is thinking is totally different. Poles apart their thinking. So we need to bring some kind of, you can say, sync between monetary and fiscal policy. That is why monetary policy committee is important. So by this time, if you want to write a conclusion, you can say MPC is in favor of policy making, in favor of controlling inflation, because this is evident. For future, we can predict something, the flip side of MPC. But right now, we are having the data that MPC is in favorable condition. We say that MPC is maintaining the RBI's autonomy. Getting my point? This must be your conclusion. If I'll dictate conclusion, if you can write. If you want me to dictate, so you write conclusion. MPC is in a favor of and maintaining RBI's autonomy because till this point, you can write in bracket August 2018, because till this point MPC is functioning independently, without any influence or excessive pressure, from government side. Full stop. MPC is fruitful in controlling prices. By keeping in mind the problems of common people as well as middle class. Full stop. MPC is working towards the goal of RBI, like making changes in making changes in the regulation of credit growth, making changes in the regulation of credit growth in the financial sector. Full stop, last line. Full stop, last line. Overall, we can conclude that MPC is effectively making effectively a neutral monetary policy. MPC is making effectively a neutral monetary policy to satisfy the balance between growth and inflation. Full stop, that's it. ठीक है, done. Any doubt? Are we clear about every concept of MPC?